Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're talking about what we can do to travel cheaper. I know this is a huge question I get all the time from people who want to travel but just don't seem to have the funds. So don't worry, that's what we're here for. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so step number one, most people want to go to Europe, so we're going to focus on that for this video. If you're interested in another place, like for example, Oceania, like Australia, New Zealand, or Asia, definitely drop in the comments below. I can make a separate video on that. But first, we're going to start with Europe. So where do you want to go? Most likely London, Paris, Rome, Amsterdam, Greece. These are the ones I get all the time. So what I'm going to suggest for traveling cheap, first thing you need to do is figure out your destination. And then you're going to figure out which credit card is going to be best for that. So I don't normally promote credit cards, but what I will say is if you are already using credit cards on your daily basis for rent, for utilities, for your groceries, for your subscriptions, any of those things, these can get you airline miles. And these miles are points, which you can then redeem for flights. So for example, if you live in Dallas like I do, you can get an American Airlines credit card. They are not my favorite. I'm not going to lie about that. However, what I will say is you can get round trip to Amsterdam, if that's your preferred destination in Europe, for about 60,000 points. Now that's an economy ticket. So obviously we're talking more points for premium or business class, but that's of course up to you. But what I will say is it's super easy to do. And this is what I would recommend for your flight. Okay. So that's step one. Get your flight sorted based off of your exact destination. You're going to look at which airline is flying to your destination of choice. For example, I already gave you guys an example with American Airlines because I know that because I did that flight. However, if you want to go to Paris, check out the Air France card. You could also check out the Air France/KLM card if we are between destinations. For example, we want to go to Amsterdam and then we want to fly over to Paris, and then we want to return from there. You can also do it one way. It's potential it'll be about the same price point-wise. Okay, so again, we're talking 60,000 points, round trip. That is what I've gotten those flights for. And usually the bonus that comes with them is 50,000 to 60,000 points. So here you're looking at a completely free flight besides taxes. So if you're okay with that, as I'm sure most of you are, that is going to be a great way to get your flight costs down, or to just not pay for your flight at all besides the taxes. Second thing we're going to talk about here is where to stay. I get this a lot as well. Jen, well, where do I stay and how do I keep my costs low once I'm in destination, right? So now we've arrived in your European capital or city of your choice. And the first thing I will suggest is if you guys are into staying at hotels, look for small boutique hotels. Don't go for the big chains unless you have their credit card. So this is going to be step two for you traveling cheap, which is stay in local housing, which would be Airbnb. Usually that's the cheapest, especially if you're splitting amongst multiple people, you're a small group of friends, family members, and or a couple. Solo people, you will get a deal, but you will have to rent a room instead of the whole apartment. I would say the whole apartment's not going to be a deal for you. It will be for bigger groups, but a room could still be a deal if you're open to that type of arrangement, okay? As far as timing, you're definitely going to see the shoulder seasons of April, May, even as early as March in Europe, all the way out to like September, October, even November in some areas are going to be a lot cheaper than the summer. They are also going to be a lot cheaper than any major holidays, Christmas, Easter. Don't worry about Thanksgiving. That's actually a great time to travel. I always tell my clients to travel in November, especially if they're empty nesters. Maybe their family is already doing stuff. This is a great time to go to Europe. Most of the destinations are pretty empty. No one over there celebrates Thanksgiving. And either way, you can get some pretty good deals around this time, especially if you're looking at river cruising, which we'll talk about in another video. Third thing I want you to keep, guys, in mind for traveling cheap or on a budget within Europe is definitely going to be if you did go ahead and get those Airbnbs or homestays as your place to stay, you can definitely cook. Local farmers markets and grocery stores are usually always the bargain, regardless of if you're in a major city in Europe or in a small town, either way. Or you can also consider going where the locals go. This is a super hack of mine. I love to stay with local people for this reason, exactly, because they will tell you where they go on the Friday night. They will tell you where the happy hours are. They will tell you where their family goes for big dinners. They will tell you where the dollar taco shop is, okay? This is super valuable information, and this is gonna also keep your costs down. So again, one, if you're willing to cook, that's definitely a great option. Groceries are less than they cost here in the US. Or on the flip side, going to local places. I'm not talking Michelin star restaurants. You know, we can do a separate video on that as well. Drop in the comments if that's something that you want to see. But otherwise, if we're cutting costs, this is going to be a great way to do it. With all that said, guys, if you have any more questions or comments about Europe specifically, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to respond and help you guys out to help you plan a cheaper trip. All right, bye for now.